Hello everyone, welcome back to my freak show. This special episode is brought to you by me and EJ Moreno. However, when EJ and I got together to record the video, we didn't realize that my audio was terrible. So I needed to fix this video. And what I have done is replaced my replies and talking sections with my voiceover here and leaving EJ's section alone. If the audio is not too terrible at that certain part, then I will absolutely just turn it down so it's not so overwhelming. But of course, we didn't know about the terrible audio until after the video had recorded. So sadly, EJ has to use my terrible audio while yet I have the option of editing mine. So here is the video edited for you guys where the audio is proper and we discuss AHS finale theories. We hope you guys enjoy. There is a link to EJ's channel in the description box, so please go check out his channel and check out the other video. And I want to say thank you all so much for watching and for suggesting this video. Most importantly, thank you so much to EJ himself. With that out of the way, everyone please welcome EJ Moreno to my channel.
I'm so happy to be joining you for this very in-depth conversation of what we are getting into with this very odd season. This is a big finale in a lot of weird ways. Like, as small scale as this feels at times this season, I just feel like we're going to get a finale, hopefully a long finale. But what are your vibes? What are you feeling?
EJ, I just don't want to be disappointed this finale. I know that Red Tide did not have a strong ending, and that's what I fear is going to happen in Death Valley. However, I'm just holding out hope that actually the show is going to tie the two seasons together in a nice little bow and give us a better ending than what they did with Red Tide. Because again, let's just admit it, Red Tide was not so good. We didn't get justice for Doris. There was really no big fight scene like had been, shown in the actual previews for that episode. And a lot of the storylines just didn't get an end to them. And they were just left ambiguous, such as, Karen's painting and just so many elements out there that I wanted AHS to answer. And I really hope that they do give us a longer finale, but with more answers that we are looking for. EJ, what do you want to see in this finale? What will make you go, wow? And what are your predictions?
I want to see full alien invasion. I think that would be just, again, much like the Red Tide finale, or the Death Valley finale, or sorry, the Red Tide one, just make the whole world go crazy. I love that. That's one of the few things I liked about the drive-in episode of stories, where it was just like, here it is, the world's over. And I'm like, that's what horror stories should be. We should sometimes get to these big endings, because there's some small-scale endings. I loved Freak Show, but that's a small-scale ending compared to other seasons. And that's kind of what I want here, is I want a big ending. I want something bold. I want to see if what if Dwight Eisenhower's still alive? Like, I want to see one of these characters from these past ones make it into our modern story. I think that would be so interesting, especially Neil McDonough in color would be very cute, because he's a very handsome man. It's good. He fits into, that's one of my favorite things. Him and Macaulay Culkin are some of the most American Horror Story actors that have never been here, and now that they're here, keep them. I think these are the two of the best find. Like, again, I like Kaya Gerber. The other people are fine, but Neil and Macaulay need to be back. These are Horror Story people now. Yeah, I'm curious, because I have heard some rumors that a Leslie Grossman and Sarah Paulson share a scene together.
Really?
Yeah, I think one of them tweeted like, "Oh, well, when we were on set together," or something like that for this season. So they actually weren't even together in the Red Tide. I don't think they should be together.
Not one. No, you're right. Not one.
So this would be the time. So I wonder if we're going to see timelines converge a little bit. I'm very curious, because like you said, I don't want to be disappointed. I really liked Red Tide. The ending wasn't even the worst episode of Horror Story I've ever seen. It was just like, oh, that's it. And I think we're gonna get a similar vibe here. I think we're gonna get, but I've said this on my channel multiple times. I've lowered my expectations for the season. I'm just here to watch the wackiness. Like, I am not trying to connect it to other seasons. I'm just like, throw some weird stuff at me. What can you offer me for entertainment this evening?
Exactly. Throw your weirdness at me and let's see what sticks.
Let's kind of, you brought up something with the weirdness, and what do you think with the squid baby thing at the end? Do you think that's going to play a part, or was that just a fun shock cliffhanger?
I thought that was a fun, shocked cliffhanger, and I thought it was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, because they really wanted their baby, and they were just gonna do this all on their own. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, there's a reason why they kill these infants, and it's not because they want to. They just want to keep them in these little vials of formaldehyde. There's a reason why they're killing them. Yeah. And it just always stuck in the back of my mind that something's going to go wrong. And sure enough, it did. And when that little squid thing just opened, I didn't expect that. I sure didn't expect it. But I thought it was hilarious because I expected something. Yeah. So I was happily surprised.
Well, I kept seeing the squid tentacles at the beginning of, the intro in every episode. And I'm like, when are we going to get squiddy? Like, what's going on here? And I was glad we fully dove into that. I'm curious if that baby is going to be a factor into the finale. Is that what is, American Horror Story likes mayhem, especially at the end of Red Tide, where basically California is gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we going to get something similar where are we going to get something similar with the baby kind of is what the catalyst for this very alien invasion? Does he squid something out of the little Area 51?
Oh yeah.
I'm glad they confirmed we are in Area 51 for this section as well.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that they're going to do something with that baby. I think I even saw it in the clips for next week that Cody Firm says that they expect a perfect human alien hybrid in 2021. So it would make sense that one of those four was carrying the perfect hybrid. I think it's going to be Jamie that's carrying that perfect human hybrid, and that's the baby that they're going to want. There's something special about her. That's the reason why the tentacles came after her first when they were abducted. She was taken out of the car. So I think there's something special about Jamie, and her baby is going to be like that goal baby that they're reaching towards.
I would love to agree with you, but Ryan Murphy's seemingly non-sexual boner for Kaya Gerber is really towards thinking she's going to be which I will say, I think Kaya has done much better this season compared to her episodes of AHS Stories, where I just don't think that character was for her. I think this character was a vapid, fun teen kind of thing. I actually really like her character. The four people aren't bothering me. I've seen some people really hate them, and I kind of like them.
Me too. They had personality. They had at least a little bit of backstory. They had something that we could all at least a little bit relate to. And I really loved that Kaya Gerber was given a much better role because, yeah, I agree. I don't think really Ruby was very much for her, but I definitely agree that this one seems to be very much for her. I've enjoyed having her in this season a lot more than in Stories.
Yeah, no, and I definitely think in the reality, she's definitely going to be a witch. If we ever do a witch,
she better be. She better be.
She gives me Coven-y vibes. Maybe not full Madison Montgomery, but I think I could see her being something like that. She's such an interesting actress here, and she's growing more. And yeah, what other feelings are you having for this finale? What are you expecting from the black and white segment?
I think the government is just finally going to come to that conclusion where they're going to be saying, okay, well, we got ourselves into this treaty. We can't get out of it. So let's just embrace it. Let's embrace the weirdness, as I like to say. And then I think we're going to see how that evolved from president to president, how each president was taken aside and shown Area 51 and told about the treaty. And it also brings up something interesting because a long time ago, my husband told me that the commissioner of the NBA, the guy who runs the NBA, he is like the guy behind the scenes. So the person who actually wins the NBA championship, the team doesn't actually run the NBA. That's the job of the head of the NBA. So just because the president won a popularity contest doesn't necessarily mean that they're the ones who actually get to make the decisions. And that really stuck with me, especially during this season, because I thought, oh my God, he is so right. When I saw how a lot of these decisions were made right behind these presidents' backs, and they had absolutely no idea and no say-so in it.
And I agree, and I know not to get into real life politics, but I remember about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now, when Trump even talked about the alien stuff, and I remember him being like, "I'm going to open up Area 51 conversations," and I'm like, "Oh wow!" Like, and it is funny, like not to bring in real stuff and nothing with politics, but like it is just interesting to hear an actual president kind of speak on this season too. Of like, I can imagine them pulling Trump aside and being like, "So." this like I don't want that character on the show, but I just imagine if this was the reality of this. I'm like, oh my
Right.
goodness, the stress of that president to get this information and you have no control over it. They're just, and
Right.
here's what we're doing, and you're just like what they were fearing with JFK, where they're like, he's not the one that he needs this information. He's going to go cuckoo crazy with it. And then that's interesting. And as much as I'm not a American history kind of person, I would like to see each president's reaction. What was Reagan's reaction? like, this is what my mind's been going to.
Just as an actor.
Oh, he's like, oh no, I understand the moon landing. Like, I can't believe we did the moon landing.
I knew that was faked.
Yeah.
That was so confusing. And again, all that stuff, I just hope that they don't give us in the finale. We don't need all of that extra. I mean, I'm glad we got Calico's little backstory. I'm glad we got a little bit more information, but I really hope that they don't jam that into the finale. I really hope that they just let the story play itself out and don't add anything new into it.
Which was my problem with Death Valley when we went to the board meeting with the people who run the town. I'm like, oh, what? Why?
Yeah. Pointless.
So late in the game to be doing that, and at least with this one, I understand it's 4 episodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Anything else are you expecting or wanting from this finale? What you got in your mind? You're a queen of predictions. You can make some off the wall predictions. And
I do, and
times.
I do, and that's the fun of it, though. That's the fun of making like those big, huge theories. I know they're not going to come true, but it's the whole thing of just making them and thinking this could happen. I would absolutely love to see that black pill be the way that the aliens are actually changing people, and so that way that they can actually breed with the humans better, and that way their DNA will be more compatible. So I would love to see that black pill and the chemist be the big main reason behind everything, and that these little pale people, they weren't pale people, they were actually aliens that just it didn't take, that maybe should have been killed. So I just really want that black pill and the chemist to come into effect, and possibly baby Eli. I've heard some little theories out there that baby Eli maybe could be that little perfect alien baby that they were looking for. Maybe Doris had been taking that pill before. Maybe she is a clone, possibly from Area 51. There's just so much, that we have grasped onto, but I really want to see something with the baby, the pill, and I want Doris to have some vengeance. Dagnabbit. I'm still hoping for it. It was never going to happen, but one can still hope.
We've never talked about that. What a character that you know my reviews. I wasn't a big fan of Doris in those first couple episodes, and then I was just like, well, she's the only smart one in this family. Like,
Right.
I don't feel bad for her, but I'm interested. I want to see at least the bare minimum the chemist be a connecting factor. I don't need Finn Whitrock. I don't need all of them to come back, but I do need the chemist or the pills, at least at the bare minimum. And I think you pointed out there has been comments characters have made of like the little black pills. There is little things that they've planted seeds, and I just hope it's not just little small plants and water. I want them to water these flowers and let it
exactly
out by this finale. Do you think we would see these stories, either one of them, ever again in American Horror Story, or do you think these are one and dones?
I think these are one and dones. Really sadly, it's one of the most asked for and requested from American Horror Story, and I sadly think that this is going to be it, especially since we're only going to get 3 more seasons, and then they're going to go ahead and close the show probably. What about you? Do you think they're going to bring it back?
I actually do think these are very isolated seasons. I think that's why everyone has been wanting the asylum connections. I honestly think after Apocalypse, I know 84 had vague references to other seasons, but I think after Apocalypse, I always say that that's the Avengers Endgame of AHS. I think we've restarted our universe in a way. Like, there'll be small minor connections, and I think horror stories would be the let's go to the Marvel universe of AHS, but I think we're kind of done with attaching everything together. You down a bit. I kept hearing people when they'd be like, "Oh, I want this to attach to the Kit and Alma Walker," and I'm like, "But that's such a
Yeah.
it boxes you in a little bit, though. I think as a creator, it goes, okay, now I have to make these aliens exactly like I made my other aliens. I have to make my
Right.
vampires like I made my other vampires. I'm glad they actually have some creative freedom. As much as I have issues with this season, I think it's very them getting to do whatever they want to do, and I like that.
EJ, were you glad that Kit and Elma Walker and their children with Grace were not in this season?
Absolutely. And I know that's going to be a hot take for some people because they really wanted it. And I don't know. I was just kind of like, I finished that story. That ending with Jessica Lange is such I love the ending of Asylum, and even the alien stuff in that season. I've infamously hated the alien stuff until that last episode. And I think it really made me go, oh, I felt it more. I understood it more. And then I'm like, why revisit it? Same thing I feel about Hotel. I thought Hotel had such a good ending that I'm like, I never want to go back there. Like, we did it with the Hotel Cortez a little bit in Apocalypse, but I'm like, we got our endings to some of these stories. We don't need to keep bringing it back up. And yeah, I was kind of happy. I would have loved maybe one connection to something in, I think, Death Valley. Death Valley seemed more American Horror Story than the other one, so that
Yes.
I could have seen it more attached. I like Red Tide, or sorry, I like Death Valley a lot. Red Tide is the one I think was a bit more connected. Yeah, I like Death Valley though. I think it's fun. It's campy. I love people's theories. I even think you talked about a little bit of, is this the book that he was writing, or the novel, or the screenplay? And I'm like, it's campy enough. I think you were the one who was pausing through pages and reading what he was writing.
Yes, reading his script. It made no sense, to be honest with you. It was all about celestial stuff and the universe, and then stuff like from hell, and it just really seemed very existential. And so when it was brought up, I thought, okay, well, I don't think this can be it. I don't think then that the second half could be Harry's story, because I'm literally sitting here pausing and reading and zooming in on every single word, trying to make everything cohesive and make it out. And it's like, no, this just, yeah, that's how deep I go for AHS.
I understand, and that's why I appreciate your channel, is you do research that none of these other girls are ready to get into. Like, even me, I'm just one of these people, I let the episode digest and I do it, but I'm not gonna like sit in theories for hours, because I would go crazy. There's so many things, like your channel gets so impressive with like, is this person attached to this? And I'm like, I would have never thought about these two people mixing together, and I love it. I think, but Horror Story does that for us, though. It's one of the few shows. I watch so many TV shows. It's one of the few shows that actually inspires this kind of conversation, and it's rare to find. I mean, I know people who love Walking Dead. You can only go so far with, you know, fan theories and all this. And
right.
This is the first show in a while that even these seasons that are half a season, not attached to anything else, we're still like, okay, here's the chart in the back. You know that one meme from It's Always Sunny where he's like,
yes.
That's what it feels like when I hear these people talk about it.
It just makes it so fun to do that. And that's why I love your channel, EJ, because everything that you talk about, I always agree with. Whenever you're like, this finale was the best, this episode really wasn't that great, or this one blew me away, I'm always like, preach it. I completely agree with everything you always say in your reviews. So usually your feelings, like I said, we all echo and we can all totally understand. It's like you say what we feel, and we love that.
Yes, and I think it also helps is I immediately roll out of my bed and go straight to recording. That is my process at night, is the moment the episode is over, I roll out and I go, it's all here. So that's why I feel bad. Like the first episode I missed talking about Steve Jobs, but I'm like, but that didn't add anything to that episode. Those are the things with Death Valley that has annoyed me, where I'm like, what's Buzz Aldrin and Homeboy doing here?
Yeah, they really could have done so much more with that time frame instead of just putting that silly story in there. Is there anything that could happen in the finale that could make you think, oh my god, this is terrible?
I think one of the biggest things is including unnecessary stories. That is literally what threw me off at the beginning of Red Tide, that finale where I was just like, oh, here's Dot Marie Jones, and here's more of Dennis O'Hare, and there is nothing. No more new characters, no more new presidents. Just give me the people I have. Once we start adding in, if Steve Jobs comes back, I'm out. Like,
right?
Like,
I hear you.
I just want the characters you've introduced. Give me more with Mamie Eisenhower. Give me the end of these stories, which Sarah Paulson done a great job. My mom just called me out because she's going through my old videos, and she called me out in my first episode. I said, wow, Amelia Earhart's going to be a main character. Mamie, not so much in it. I was completely wrong. I was completely reversed. So that's what I like, though. Even when I'm wrong, I like when the season can surprise me, because I swore Amelia was the main character on the season.
And she was only in there for 2 lines, and that's it. And then we didn't even get the markings. What were the markings on her back? You know, things such as that. I mean, there was just so much left to be explained that we didn't get. And I mean, I do love it when AHS is ambiguous like that, and they leave it to me to fill in all those theories of why did she have the markings on her back? Why did they take her? You know, and all that stuff. I absolutely love it. But I do want sometimes for them to give me a little bit more answers than what they're trying to convey in the story.
Yeah, and my biggest thing here is I do feel both these seasons, it feels like they overshot these seasons. It feels like there's stuff missing. Stuff that it feels like they filmed already, though. It feels like there was stuff that these could have been full seasons. It feels like even they physically were on set. Because I think you've even pointed out some things in trailers have not made it to these final products. And I'm like,
right.
Where are these? Why leave them on the editing room floor? Why are these episodes not an hour and a half? There's nothing on FX. I watch FX before and after American Horror Story. There's nothing here. Come on, guys. Give me 2
And there's nothing online.
Yeah. Like,
right.
Yeah, that's what I think my biggest disappointment is. I think a big fear is another short episode like the Red Tide finale. These episodes I think have all been consistent like 40, 50 minutes, which is about fine. But if they go any shorter than that with a finale again, that would definitely anger me. Again, a lot of these people have not really done the most amazing stuff outside of American Horror Story, like lasting seasons. So hopefully Lily can play and do something what she wants, but she has a home here, and she's really never had,
Absolutely.
other than Red Tide, she's never had a starring role, and I want her to have another.
Well, Asylum.
Asylum, yes, I do kind of forget because Jessica Lange, Sarah Paulson do kind of eat that season up.
Right, there's such a dueling force.
It's a trifecta though, with those three. Because I mean, oh god, I miss her character in Asylum so much. That was, oh god, I look back at some of the seasons and I get so nostalgic of like how insane we were. And now TikTok right now has blown up the killer is escaping. The killer is escaping. I love that TikTok has blown up that one audio clip, and I'm like, wow, Asylum, it never goes away. Fingers crossed for the destruction of humanity in American Horror Story.
Absolutely. We're such bad people, EJ, but it's so great.
Only American Horror Story fans would want the end of the world.
Absolutely.
Well, it was great talking with you about all of this insane finale stuff, and make sure you guys come to my channel because we have some season 11 predictions to talk about. Hopes and dreams mostly. There's nothing to predict. There's just wants and dreams, themes, and stuff like that. So make sure you guys go to my channel. Thank you so much for inviting me over to your channel to have some fun.
So as you guys can see, I had the best time filming with EJ that day. And please don't forget to go check out his channel, which again, there is a link to his channel in the description box where you can watch the other video we were just talking about, where he probably had a little bit more of an ability to fix the video. So definitely go check out his channel. And EJ reviews more than just American Horror Story. He reviews TV shows and movies and covers other entertainment news, especially RuPaul's Drag Race. So please go check out his channel. And I would like to give a huge thank you to EJ for taking the time to come over and record with me. Huge thank you, EJ. Again, I adore your channel. I adore your reviews. Thank you so much for collabing with me. It was very special. Don't forget to click the like button if you guys liked the collab. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you would like to. Thank you all so much for watching this very special video. Can't wait for the finale of American Horror Story Season 10. Sad that it's ending so soon, but I'm really excited for it. Are you guys? Let me know in the comments below.
Well, thank you all so much for watching and for being here. And EJ, you better beware of our girl, Sexy Scathach.
Oh boy, yes.
Beware of Sexy Scathach.